What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on the Get Up, they're going to be talking about Joel Embiid and how he called his coach and said he won't be able to play in the playoff game. So let's see what they have to say about that.
Joel Embiid, of course, you were there last night. He was reportedly sick ahead of last night's game and only made 2 shots last night after the game. It was a topic of discussion. We start with Brett Brown right here.
I got a text from him at 6:20 a.m. this morning telling me like he didn't sleep all night. He'd really never felt this poorly, and he was unsure, Coach, if I'm going to play. I just want to give you a heads up. I'll try, but I don't know. And, with that started my day.
Yeah, he's got to be ready and expecting that. Obviously, he's feeling a little sick today, so that plays into it too. Practice tomorrow. Get ready for the next game.
Okay, I thought Simmons' sound was particularly telling there. What do you take away from what we just heard from both?
So, yeah, I would be so embarrassed and so scared to call my coach and tell him at 6 o'clock in the morning that I'm not going to be able to make it to the game. I'm not going to be able to play because I'm sick. I mean, the nerve, really. You have the nerve to call me up and tell me you can't play in a playoff game? I mean, what else do you have to do? You play in the NBA. You make millions of dollars a year. All you have to do is show up for a game for 3 hours and play? You can't do that? Now, I know people get sick. I know things happen. But come on. I mean, come on. You can't suck it up. Anything short of a broken leg, internal bleeding, blood coming out of your ears, anything like that, you better be here to play. And also, if you're so sick that you can't play, no problem. You better still be here, and you can sit on the bench in regular play and plain clothes with your teammates. And if you feel like you're going to blow chunks, we have a bucket right there for you. If you feel like you're going to pass out or something, we have the team trainer right there to take care of you. But you will be here, and you will sit right next to your teammates. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I'll be so embarrassed. I mean, that tells something about a guy's character. You can't show up to play in a basketball game because you feel sick? I mean, come on. Let's keep going.
For them about Embiid.
I don't know if I read that much into it. Listen, this is a player who, when he is on the top of his game, is as dominant of a force on both ends of the floor as there is in this league. And you see them when he plays well, they have beaten Toronto yesterday. When he doesn't play well, when he's limited, it still took Toronto to play great down the stretch. Kawhi to hit a big shot to beat them at home, but they need him. This becomes a 2 out of 3 series now, and the way he impacts, especially defensively, around the rim, you've seen the impact he's had in this series. Turned the ball over late yesterday down the stretch. Clearly ran out of gas in the fourth quarter with his illness.
And look, he's dealing with the.
Like I said before, anything short of a broken arm, internal bleeding, whatever, you better be here to play. Like I said, you get paid millions of dollars a year, and all you have to do is for 3 hours come and play a game. And Ben Simmons even seemed kind of skeptical in the interview we just saw because he knows what's up. They know those players know what they do. They know what's going on with each other. They know probably somebody who's faking it, or somebody who's probably hungover, or is doing something they probably shouldn't be doing, and they won't make it, or they're going to be late, or whatever. But those guys know, just like brothers. Those guys know what each other's doing and who's lying. They can tell what's going on. That's why Ben Simmons probably seemed kind of skeptical. But Joel Embiid should be embarrassed. Be embarrassed. So you can't show up to a playoff game where you have a chance to win a ring because you're sick. You feel sick? Okay, then that means tomorrow I better not see you at practice and you seem like everything's fine. I don't hear anything about no 8-hour cold that you couldn't play, but now you're okay the next day. So I don't know. Let's keep going.
Illness. He's dealing with injury always. It seems to be the common story with Joel Embiid, but he is the crown jewel of the process, Greenie. So what do you guys think about Embiid's performance and the sickness that he's been dealing with?
Well, yeah, and I'm sitting here smiling because it's just every game in the NBA playoffs is a referendum on everything. On Friday morning, we were debating Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson's argument over whether or not Joel Embiid should be considered with the greatest big man of all time.
That was a ridiculous conversation, though.
It wasn't a ridiculous conversation. It was an interesting conversation.
So that was a ridiculous conversation, Mr. Mike Greenberg. A very, did even bring up Joel Embiid in the same breath as some of the best centers of all time doesn't make any type of sense. For one, he hasn't won anything. He hasn't even been to the championship game to win anything. So I don't understand how all of a sudden, how could you be one of the best centers if you've never even been to the championship game, let alone won a ring, let alone multiple rings? And Joel Embiid is he's prone to get injured. He has back problems, knee problems, foot problems. I mean, to be considered one of the best, and he hasn't won a ring. He's always getting hurt. Apparently, he has no problem calling out to miss playoff games. So now I guess he might be hurt. You have to question his heart with that one. You definitely got to question his heart. But to put him up there as being one of the best, what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, David Robinson, or Hakeem, Shaq, Wilt, you put Joel Embiid up there with those guys? No way. No way. Especially after this stuff that he pulled. So let's keep going.
This morning, it feels like a ridiculous conversation. You were right, because now we're talking about this. What do we make of this now?
Joel Embiid is a generational talent, but I don't think he has the maturity that you need of a guy that's going to win you a championship right now. There's obviously a lack of maturity. You saw that in game one. I don't know if I can go or not. Now, let me ask you, anybody here a question? You're a competitor.
Yeah.
Seth, you're a competitor. You guys have been coaches too, Seth. You've been a coach. If I were to text my head coach at 6 a.m. on the day of game 4 of the playoffs, and we're trying to win a championship, to say, I'm unsure if I can go or not, coach. I would never think about doing that. I want to win a championship.
Yeah, you're right, Jason Williams. I mean, that is above and beyond. That's like, I'll be so embarrassed and so shook up to make that call. It's like, dude, just the fact that you can talk to me, you sound like you're okay. I don't care if you're coughing up blood over the phone. You sound like you're okay. If it's that bad, you have to miss game 4 of the playoffs, and we have a chance to do something. But that we can't have you. We can't use you. We can't use you. Just stay home. Just stay home. I mean, to do something like that, it tells me a lot about your character. A lot about your character. I mean, you're making millions of dollars. There's people that get up and go work at Burger King for minimum wage, and they're sick as a dog, and they would still show up and do overtime. So don't give me this crap. You can't show up to a basketball game for 3 hours. You're professional. Your game check is probably $500,000. And you're telling me you can't make it because you're sick? No. Heck no. Heck no. Let's keep going.
Play this game sick. Now, you can say, let's compare that to Jordan. No, any competitor would try to play this game sick, and I wouldn't report on myself. It also lets me know something that Brett Brown, the head coach, then had a need to come out and tell the media what actually occurred. It lets me know that they're not on the same page. Because I tell you what, if I drop 35 in that game, even if I am sick, Rini, I'm not going to tell people I'm sick. I'm going to let my legend live on. I'm going to let other people tell the media that I was sick for me.
To me, it was mind-boggling. Joel, when I say it's ridiculous, I say it's ridiculous because Joel Embiid has had times where he's looked like one of the best players potentially in the country. He's done it for a year and a half. Half of the time he's sick, half of the time he's hurt. There's always something with Joel Embiid. Now, his talent, undeniable. When he's playing hard, when he's committed, I got a bigger problem. If you're going to play, then play. Forget about the excuses, kind of what you're saying. If you're going to play, then, dude, you got to play. But the other thing is, if you're going to play, then use him. It's great he can make a 3. It's great he can drive it from the high post. Will you please get him to the left block or in the mid post, throw him the basketball there, and play off a double team? Because that's where he can dominate the game. The 3-point line, yeah, he can make a shot. He can drive it. He can dominate the game on the defensive end. He can dominate the game on the block. It blows my mind they don't get him there.
And this team.
So that's a coaching issue and not using Joel Embiid right with the strategies. But I just can't let go of the whole calling out, I'm not going to make it. I mean, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing that somebody was going to call out. You're making millions of dollars a year. You have everything catered to you. All you have to do is show up for 3 hours. All you have to do is show up for 3 hours. I can't get over. I can't get over that people will actually do that. I just cannot get over that. I forgot what I was going to say, to tell you the truth. So let's keep going.
Also seems a little bit fractured, right? Like, who's in a boat with who? Is Jimmy Butler with Joel Embiid? Ben Simmons and obviously Joel Embiid. It seems like they make little slights at each other here and there. Ben Simmons on the island. Like, how does this work? Jimmy Butler being an outlier, even though he's been playing at a very high level. What's happened to